Hello everyone, my name is Lennard and I'm an application engineer for Rigel Medical. Today's seminar and presentation is going to be on the Rigel 288 Plus electrical safety analyzer. This is our flagship product in regards to electrical safety. So we'll go into a bit more depth of how to configure this instrument, do a bit of menu diving, how to use the user interface, some of the Bluetooth connectivity devices that are compatible with this device. And just how to get the most out of this instrument. If you've got interest in actually how to apply electrical safety, please check out some of our other webinars that we've done recently. There will be a repeat of this in a few weeks if you've missed it. But this is purely to go into the 288 configuration itself and some of the features that you might not be aware of. Firstly, a little bit about ourselves at Rigel Medical. We are renowned globally as a designer and manufacturer of reliable, portable and compact biomedical test equipment. Our products ensure that critical medical equipment is safe to use throughout the device's life cycle. As metrology specialists for almost 4 decades, our innovative testing solutions have been mitigating risk worldwide in healthcare environments. We've got 2 operating locations, one in Peterlee, the UK, is our main manufacturing site. We've also got another office in Tampa, Florida. That's headed up by Paul Fopel. Around the world, we've got 7 Rigel authorised global service centres, got distribution in over 110 countries, supported by over 40 distribution partners. Okay, so some of the key features of the Rigel 288. It offers an accurate and fast solution for meeting international and local safety standards. 50, 100, 250 and 500 volt DC insulation testing allows testing equipment running on 24 volt DC and 48 volt DC up to 253 volt AC. So we've got these lower insulation test outputs available for the 288, and this is to cover some of the safety extra low voltage devices that require insulation tests. Find that your traditional electrical safety analyzers only have the 500 and sometimes 250 volt DC. And this covers the ranges down to the safety extra low voltage, or class 3 as it's known in some standards. Okay, so it's small and compact. This is one of the key features for the Rigel 288 Plus. Anyone who's seen a Rigel 288 Plus before realises it's very handheld, it's lightweight, it's perfect for engineers that are on the move. It comes in a carry case with the applied part connector box and power leads and any additional accessories, so you'll be able to fit your printer in there, any extra labels. So it's got all-in-one compliance with international standards including IEC 62353, AMI or IEC EN 60601-1, IEC 61010, NFPA 99 and AS NZS 3551. Different firmwares for this product, so if you're interested in having different configurations for your region, the 288 does have this capability. There's automatic warning of secondary earth ground paths, Bluetooth printer and barcode scanner available as an optional accessory, and we've got battery powered insulation, earth bond and point-to-point testing. I'll go into more detail on this in the demonstration video. Okay, so firstly the interface. We've got the LCD screen. We've got the alphanumeric keyboard and the numbers for keying in your asset IDs, etc. And just your other functional keys and start and stop button. 7 is your device under test socket. On the top of the 288 Plus, there's different connections. So this is for your IEC test leads test. So for that test, we would be carrying out from the DUT to the IEC lead test socket. 9 is our main power connection for the safety analyzer. And we've got our 10-way applied part adapter box connection, RS232 lead socket for data transfer, firmware updates, etc. We do have Bluetooth in this device, but if you prefer a cable connection, it does have that option. And then 11, which is your auxiliary earth bond socket, and 13, which is your earth bond probe socket. And this is where you'll be doing your point-to-point testing as well. And also if you need an alternative earth path, so auxiliary earth bond socket is used for that as well. So with this you can do point-to-point earth bond and point-to-point enclosure leakage tests with the Rigel 288 Plus. Okay, so some of the configuration. I will go into this in the video, but I'll make these slides available if you just want to run back through them as a quick reference. So you've got the function key, which is F1, and then go down to setup, and in here you've got your test sequences, so you can modify or create test sequences here. Test codes, where you can generate 4-digit test routine shortcuts. And if you haven't seen the 288, you won't know what that means, but I will go on to that in more detail. Asset trace variables, where you can generate default list of variables. This is particularly useful for manufacturers who are producing asset IDs sequentially, and what it will do is every single test it will just add that value on, so you can do your own default trace variables. Got a system configuration. This configures your default test options, and in here you can change where the start and the end of test go. So once you've finished an electrical safety test, you can either go to print result or view data, or just go back to the new test screen. Got Bluetooth favorites, so setting up of Bluetooth devices such as your printers, PCs, or even your mobile phone if you're using the 288 downloader app. Got user admin, set up users and preferences, memory options where you manage the memory, and then just to restore factory settings. Okay, so manual mode, you can test to a specific individual test or test conditions to aid fault diagnostic procedures. So you might want to carry out individual tests, very easy to do. You just go to manual mode in the menu and select either earth bond tests, insulation tests, your leakages, load tests, and IEC lead tests. And in this example, the IEC 62353 and 60601, you'll note that on the safety analyzer we're using today has ASNZS 3551 configuration. So it depends on your firmware. You can have any standard installed on the 288 Plus. Okay, so automatic testing. We'll go through a video just to show how you can carry out an automatic test quickly. This isn't using test sequences or anything like that. It's just selecting from the pre-configured standards that are installed on the 288 Plus. So when you first start the 288, it will already be in manual mode. So it's shown here, it's just in earth bond. If you select the green button, it will just carry out an earth bond test, a manual test, whichever one selected. If you go to the manual mode by F2, then you can select all your different settings, such as the ones shown on screen. We'll go to automatic mode. We'll key in an asset. Got a series of pre-configured test sequences available. We're going to select 62353 class 1 direct. Now we can key in our asset ID, give it an arbitrary number. We can also select the run mode, semi-automatic or automatic for power brake systems, and we can change our test period. F1 gives us the option to change any applied parts. We use F2 to edit and change our configured applied parts here. We'll just do 2 BF, and if you show on these connections, it's these two here. So it's telling us 1 to 2. It tells us exactly where to plug in the leads on the applied part box. Okay, so we just press F4, go through the system, and that will perform an automatic safety test once you've got your applied parts configured and your test lead one in the exposed conductors. We haven't actually got any test leads connected, so applied parts is just to show you how to configure an automatic test. As you can see, it's very intuitive, quick to run. I will give a demonstration quick shortly with some of the leads connected. Okay. So there's no applied parts connected. The values are going to be lower than the resolution of the instrument, obviously, but it's going to be below the range, and there's no applied parts connected for this test. Okay, so when you get to this screen, you can enter any user comments. Let's say that's passed. And that's an automatic test. Now that's automatically stored under that asset ID. Now what is useful with the 288, when you come around the next year, key in your asset ID, the same one, it will reload the existing test data and say, okay, it was tested on the 2nd of June, and it will recall that test sequence. So you can just carry out the test again. So really useful feature with the asset management on this particular device, and then you can just run through the test again, but we won't do that. Just to show the feature of the recall settings. Go to view data. We can now view those results. So here's, sorry to print all labels, but if you go to F4, you can then view the results, got all the test details. That will have all the values from your test on screen. Including your connections, 1 to 2BF, exactly how it's configured. Now to edit test sequences, the easiest way to do this is to go into a test sequence, pick the test that closely resembles the test that you want to create, and then copy that test sequence, and that will make a copy of that with a star next to it, and then from there you can use the edit key to edit that test sequence, and it will just be in that the original 62353 configuration, but you can then edit it to be customized. So here you can rename the test sequence. Once renamed, you can press F4 and go back. Press F4 to enter the sub-menu to alter the settings. So not only can you add custom tests, you can change the leakage limits, you can change the duration of the tests to make it more customizable for your testing needs. Okay, so an individual test can be inserted and edited as before. Select insert F1. This new test will be inserted before the highlighted position or after, and then you can choose your required tests. So this is, I'll show this in the demonstration just now. Okay, so we select test sequences in the setup menu, and then we copy the test sequence that we want to closely mimic. As an example, we use 62353. It's commonly used. Class 1 direct. Okay, so copy that test sequence, and there's the copy there with the star next to it. We can now edit that test sequence and configure it however we need to. So we can edit the earth bond test, we can change the pass-fail limit for the resistance measurement. You can change the time, duration, etc. But you can also insert tests. So you can insert individual tests. So let's put it before earth bond. Let's add a visual test as part of our procedure. Press F3 and save the changes. But if we need to rename it, press F4. We can call this 62353 with visual test. As a quick reference, obviously you can create your own sequence names according to your requirements. Also, I think there's a character limit for the sequence name. Okay, so we just call it 62353 with visual test. It'll be part of your automatic mode test procedure if you require it. One thing I didn't show on the presentation is test codes, and these are really useful if you've got different configurations of applied parts. So let's create a test code using that same test sequence. This one, when you create it, called TCO1. Add our test sequence. So in this example, we're going to use our one we've just created, 62353 with visual test. Select F4, F3 to go back, and that's now saved. We've got a new test code. And I didn't highlight this in the presentation. It's really useful. So if you can edit the name, you can only put a 4-digit code in, maximum 4 digits. For demonstration purposes, let's do it for DFib, DEFI. Make it an automatic test, and then we can press F1 to change our applied parts. Now for a typical DFib, we're going to have 2 patient pads, DFib pads, perhaps BF classification. So we'll select BF, 2 patient connections for each pad. And then if we go down using the directional keypad, we can select F2 edit and then add another applied part. For this we'll use ECG. This is CF classification, 5 patient connections. So now we've got a test code that's pre-configured for a defibrillator using our customized test sequence. So if we save that, F3, go back, it's called DEFI. I guess DEFIB would be better, defib, but for demonstration purposes we'll just use that automatic mode. For use defib3 as the asset ID. When we key in our asset code using the alphanumeric keyboard, it will recall that test data. There's no need to configure anything else. It's already configured for the defib. Of course, you can do this manually each time you do a test, but if you've got multiple types of the same device, it's really useful. We go to applied parts, you can see that configuration is already there. 1 to 2 for BF, and ECG 3 to 7. Useful as a quick reference. So if I now zoom out, and I'll just get the defib leads so we can plug them in. Okay, so just plug in the first of the leads. So that's on the 288 where we need to now plug in our classified applied parts. So just grab these ECG connections, setting us 3 to 7. So we use the applied part adapters which come with the 288. It'll be a pack of 10 adapters, snap adapters for attaching these ECGs to. So it's saying 3 to 7. As it's an electrical safety test, it's not important where these are configured, and there's no ECG simulation. It's just for electrical safety. So all 5 go on 3 to 7. And then RA and LA is telling us on here 1 to 2. And you can see the numbers just down the left hand side. It's for our defib pads. And now that's already configured for your automatic test. So then if you want to recall this DEFI test code, it's already pre-configured for any defibs you're going to be using with 5 ECG leads. And then same as before, plug the device under test into the DUT socket, connect up your enclosure type lead to your any exposed conductive parts on the enclosure of the test, on the equipment under test, and then perform an automatic or semi-automatic test as before. And the 288 will take care of the rest. It will work out all the values according to, we can see that with the visual test from our pre-configured test sequences there. Okay, so just run through the tests. So run through the load tests, leakage tests, earth bond test, etc. And once that's complete, it will give us our values for both BF and CF configurations. So just doing our direct equipment now. Direct AP, you can see it's doing 1 to 2 separately, and then 3 to 7 separately as well. So it's just your CF and BF tests. Okay, so that's passed. So we click save with that comment. And if we go back to the main menu, go to view data, let's take a look at our results from DFIB3 asset ID. A few results to the top one. We have not a normal load test, equipment leakage direct. Our AP leakage is separated into CF and BF results. Now, of course, you can. I know we've gone through the test sequence procedure, but you can do this manually without having to pre-configure if you don't want to. Okay, so we're going to do this in one section, a couple of videos where we've got Bluetooth, so how do we pair the Rigel 288 with other devices, with printers as well, and also some of the data transfer options we've got available. And we've got a few of these which are suited to different individuals. For instance, our 288 downloader app is better configured for our field service engineers, but the biomeds, clinical engineers, might prefer Medibase, our asset management system, or just to simply have it downloaded into CSV format, and that's then applied to or attached to their asset management system or work orders. Okay, so firstly, I'll just go for a quick demo with the Bluetooth pairing, some of the printing, and firstly the 288 downloader app. Okay, so got the printer here, so I'll set up the printer. We'll also set up the phone using the Bluetooth favorites. So if we go to computer, this is where we connect our mobile device, Android device. Press F1 to search for it. My Bluetooth is discoverable on my phone, so it should be able to find it. This is a Samsung S10. Okay, there it is. It's also found the printer. We'll add that first. You have to press F3 to add that to the system, and then select F4 to save. And while we're in this Bluetooth favorite settings, we'll add the printer as well. And just search for the printer. You also need to select the printer type. Test and tag Elite 2. Okay, add that one in, make sure it's defined as test and tag, select F4 to save. Now they're both in our Bluetooth favorites. And from our data from previous tests, we can now either print the results or print the test labels. I've only got one set of labels here, so there might be a bit of misalignment for the test results. But it will give you an idea of how the printer setup works and what it can do. So it prints all test and tag labels. You pass-fail labels if they're required. In most biomed clinical engineering departments, it's not used very commonly because you've got your own stickers that you use. But some people still like to use this. There we go, got a test and tag labels being printed off. So we can also print results, view data, F2, oh no, sorry, it's F4 and F4 again, and then you can print the results in this menu here. So view the ones that we've just done from our previous test. Press F4 when it's connected. Should really be using till roll for this particular printout, so there'll probably be a little bit of overlap. Okay, so we'll just wait for that to connect again. I just picked the test we've just done. F4 to print. Just turn that off. Okay, yep, so there we go, we've got our results printed out. If we use the label roll, which we recommend for test results, then you won't have this overlap. These are purely for pass-fail labels. Let's give you an example of how it prints both results and labels. Okay, so our 288 downloader app, you can find this on Google Play on the Rigel 288 Plus downloader, or you can find the link on our website, which is available on the Rigel 288. You can transfer results from your 288 Plus to your Android device. Certificates can be printed in PDF format on your phone, ideal for engineers on the move. It's a really simple application, but really useful. We've got quite a number of users that use this particular app. Very handy. It's free to download. Just simply converts all of your test results from your asset IDs into test certificates in PDF format on your Android device. Unfortunately, it's not available on Apple at the moment. What I'll do is I'll quickly show you how this works and how the PDF is demonstrated on the phone. So with a quick demonstration, I'll just play that video now. Okay, so open up our 288 downloader app. Say connecting device. We've already paired up our phones from before, so it should pick up on the device. Sometimes you may have to go into the setup on the app to reselect the 288 that you're connecting to. So if you go to settings and Bluetooth, and reselect, and it will say waiting for data. Press send on the tester. You press F4 on the 288 app, and that's it. Simple as that. You view the PDF options, select your file viewer, whichever one you're using. Just zoom in on that so you can get a better idea of the results. How it's formatted. So it's in a nice, consolidated into a Rigel medical test record PDF format. Really handy application. As I say, completely free to download. So if you've got the Rigel 288, it's certainly worth downloading this application on your phone. You see defib from our previous test with all our test results. Okay, so data transfer for your PC. We'll break this down into a different part of the presentation. And there's two different ways. Firstly, I'll go through our free data transfer option. It's quite rudimentary, but it's very useful because you can extract data however you need it. And the way this works is you transfer between your 288 Plus and your PC using our data transfer program. Save it in CSV or TXT format. The config data allows you to download test sequences and test codes to your PC. And then you can also clone your data, which means all your Rigel 288 Plus units can have identical test sequences and test codes. So if you've bought a new unit and you want that unit to have exactly the same configuration as your other 288s that you've got in service, then you can just simply clone that data using this program. But in addition to that, you can download your results. And then if you've got the capability, some of our distributors have created programs that produce the PDFs from that raw CSV or TXT file into however they want it. So it could be into a particular PDF certificate format, It could be a HTML certificate. It depends on how savvy you are with producing these types of data. If you require a program that has all the bells and whistles and it produces the PDF report automatically, and it has asset management, then we do have Rigel Medibase. Just a Rigel Medibase, centralized test results, test protocol generator, so you can create test sequences and upload them to your tester, automatic result comparisons, customized print email test reports, which I'll show on the short video, interface and remote control for multi-flow, filter and schedule functions for preventative maintenance, one-touch retest protocols, and also auto-update notifications. Show you a quick demonstration of Rigel Medibase, how it works with the Rigel 288. So on the Medibase interface, you click download 62353, standard over Bluetooth link. In this example, so we're going to use Bluetooth again, paired up the PC. Once it says downloading, that's when you click send on the Rigel 288. So that's sent. 3 assets download we've passed. Select our DFib3 again. Have a look at our test results. Gives us our applied parts as well. So 1 and 2 BF, color coded, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 type CF. So you've got the different configurations for the applied parts. Test results are in here, so you can print a certificate and then it's in PDF format. So as an example, you can also change the language for these as well, so it's for our global customers. But as you can see, very similar to how the PDF generator on the app works. Just produces a report, a test record, certificate for each test result. And with Medibase, it's an asset management system as well, so it records your test results for all of your equipment basically. So if you've got the rest of our portfolio, it stores results for that as well. We can use remote control mode for some of our products, well, chiefly the Rigel Multiflow. But it just gives you a quick idea of how Medibase and the 288 work. Very easy to use. I've gone over our automatic safety analyzer today, but there are other options available from Rigel if you don't feel that the automatic safety analyzer is for you. We also have the Safe Test range. Now, Safe Test 50 and 99 are specific to the US market, so that's for more geared towards NFPA 99, but they have simple, easy to use and fast testing, and it's that single key press for selecting fault conditions, carrying out tests, which can be beneficial to some engineers. But some considerations with this: obviously there's no manual storage of results, no automatic procedures, there's no integrated Bluetooth, so really 288 Plus is what provides all the comprehensive data. Again, this is probably more suited for training, or if you have to manually log results as part of a PM schedule. If you don't need to if you need to manually store your results anyway, then perhaps this is more beneficial